Welcome to another edition of STEM to the Stars. Today we're going to delve into the story of Gail Halvorson, also known as Uncle Wiggly Wings or the Berlin Candy Bomber. Uncle Wiggly Wings, or then known as First Lieutenant Gail Halvorson, was a pilot in the United States Air Force and flew a Douglas C-54 airplane for the events in this story. Gail Halvorson retired as a colonel, so for the rest of the story we will refer to him as Colonel Halvorson. After World War II, Germany was divided among the countries that won the war against Germany. What then was the Soviet Union took control of the eastern half of Germany, and the western half was divided among the Allied forces of the USA, Great Britain, and France. Beginning June 1948, Russia built blockades and would not let food and supplies reach the city of Berlin, Germany. All roadways and electricity was cut off from more than 2 million people. The United States sent pilots to help fly food and supplies into Berlin, and was called the Berlin Airlift, which helped to overcome the blockades built by Russia. One day, while in Berlin, Colonel Halvorson saw a group of young children at the end of a runway. They were watching planes landing and taking off. The children were hungry, but they did not complain nor beg for anything. Uncle Wiggly Wings, Colonel Halvorson, reached in his pocket and he found he had 2 sticks of gum. How do you share 2 sticks of gum with all of these children? He asked himself. Colonel Halvorson gave the 2 sticks of gum to the group of children, and amazingly, the children tore the gum into enough pieces for every child to have a small taste or smell. There was no arguing or fighting. There were only smiles of joy at having even a small piece to savor. Seeing how thrilled the children were over the gum, Uncle Wiggly Wings promised to bring them candy the next time he came, and that he would drop it to them from his plane. There were many airplanes that passed over the city carrying supplies each day. "How will we know it's your plane?" asked a young girl. "I will wiggle my wings," replied Uncle Wiggly Wings. The next day, as Colonel Halvorson flew over Berlin, he wiggled the wings of his plane to let the children know that he was going to drop candy to them. Then, he dropped many small parachutes made from handkerchiefs, each bearing sweet treats. This is how he became known as the Berlin Candy Bomber. Soon, letters addressed to Uncle Wiggly Wings began to arrive with children requesting candy drops in other areas of the city. Operation Little Vittles had begun, where food and sweets were dropped to the little children. To help Uncle Wiggly Wings with Operation Little Vittles, candy was shared by fellow airmen and sent by school children from across America. Candy manufacturers such as the Hershey Company also donated candy by the boxcar load. In May of 1949, the highway blockade ended, and the airlift delivering supplies ended in September. The candy dropped by Colonel Halvorson did not just represent a sweet treat, it provided hope for the children of East Berlin. It also showed that someone cared enough to bring a little joy to them. The children explained to Uncle Wiggly Wings that they could go without enough food for a bit, but if they had lost their freedom, they may never get it back. So using a handkerchief parachute with candy attached, Colonel Halvorson provided the children with a bit of hope and freedom they needed to survive. This effort represented the optimism of a bright future ahead. 2019 marked the 70th anniversary of the end of the Berlin airlift. Even though Colonel Halvorson has gained fame from his simple act of kindness and offer of hope to the children of Berlin, he does not take the credit for himself. Colonel Halvorson felt the real heroes were the aircraft maintainers and the airfield operations personnel, who worked tirelessly and often in extreme difficult conditions to accomplish the mission. The Berliners were also heroes because despite the most difficult circumstances, they never gave up. The efforts of Uncle Wiggly Wings will be remembered because of his love and concern for others. He had a true humanitarian spirit. Colonel Halvorson continued sharing the spirit of giving. Retired Colonel Halvorson recreated the spirit of his Berlin candy story in the United States and in other countries such as Tirana, Albania, in 1999, where he delivered school supplies, toys, and candy to disadvantaged Albanian children there. And Uncle Wiggly Wings was also offered his special gifts of hope, caring, and candy to the victims of Hurricane Katrina in South Mississippi in 2005. Colonel Halvorson also visited many schools. School children, educators, and many other groups enjoyed the story of Uncle Wiggly Wings. He conducted class visits and discussions with students and continued to reenact the Berlin Candy Bomber story over countless schools and communities in honor of the Berlin Airlift's humanitarian efforts to bring hope to those in need, even until the last days of his life. At 101 years old, Colonel Halvorson died February 16, 2022, but his legacy will live on in the hearts of everyone who continues his spirit of giving and sharing hope. His quote, "Everyone needs hope today as much as the West Berliners needed it then. Hope is a universal need. Transport aircraft and the airlift they provide deliver hope to the unfortunate around the world who are oppressed by man or nature. My experience on the airlift taught me that gratitude, hope, and service before self can bring happiness to the soul when the opposite brings despair. Not one of the 30 children begged for chocolate, but thousands of children in Berlin received over 20 tons of chocolate, gum, and other goodies delivered on the ground or dropped from C-54 Skymaster aircraft over a 14-month period. It all came from other aircraft and other crews in addition to myself.